So on today's video I thought I'd talk all about Raggity Anne.
Confused, but it's okay, cause this is my world anyway, and I don't have to try like you do one day, when complication kills you, I'll be here, stupid but alive, and easily confused.
So Raggity Anne had been sort of a band from Nuneaton, which coincidentally is where I was born, which obviously made me, that obviously pricked my interest in them when I saw reviews of their stuff in various fanzines at that time when I got back into doing stuff in the very late 90s. To be honest, they've been more active in my kind of wilderness years, so sort of like 96, 97, 98 time. They'd put out a couple of CDs on a small label called Smoking Troll. And I remember, I think I got like a split 7-inch, and I think I probably got Paul, the drummer, used to do, Paul Raggity, he used to do a fanzine called Jelly Brain. I'm sure I got an issue of that. And they had this song called Only Square People Think It's Cool to Be Cool, and I really liked it. And I remember I actually took it into the CD plant where I worked down in Battersea. And I remember playing it in the office, and a guy called Ian, who I used to sit next to, who coincidentally I now work with again 20 odd years later at Key. I remember him saying like, "This is really good, Aston," you know, and to be honest, anyone that worked at making used to moan about the stuff I would bring on the CD player, and they'd run before I could get to the CD player to put something else on usually, because obviously there was me playing all this stuff and they were very much more kind of like indie kids that I work with, and it was just like, oh no, Aston's putting a CD on again. But I remember I put this on, and Ian actually, you know, Ian was into, you know, a lot of like the Fat Wreck stuff and things like that, and I remember him saying, "This is really good," and then there was sort of like thinking like, yeah, this is really good actually, maybe I ought to get in touch with them and see what's what. So I contacted Paul, and I sort of put forward, because I knew that kind of the two Smoking Troll CDs were out of print, and I wondered whether they wanted to do something. And it transpired that pretty much the band had kind of split up. I think they'd done one final 4-song recording session that hadn't been released yet, which I think was with Dan McKee was in the band at that point. So I think the original guys had kind of left, and it was just Paul with some new guys now. And so we came up, and I said, well, yeah, the only sort of stipulation is I'd really like Only Square People Think It's Cool to be on this, you know, whatever we do, because I just love that track, and I knew other people loved that track. And so we came up with this idea of doing like a best of Raggity Anne, and there was 20 songs. And it was actually the very first CD I put together and pressed when I moved to Key Production. So this must have been pressed, I would have thought, probably in August 2000, September 2000 possibly. So we put it together and it came out. And obviously Kaza in Japan took a bunch of them, because I think I might have traded with Smoking Troll some Raggity Anne CDs before this, and actually sent those and sold those out to Kaza in Japan. So I think, you know, they were kind of, you know, there were people who were aware of the band in Japan. So yeah, so I definitely sent quite a few of the 20-track comp CD out to Japan. You know, they were quite popular in Japan. So Kaza, I think, did quite well on it from memory. So I think we only pressed 500. I think I was a bit sort of wary of pressing any more, because the band obviously was kind of no more itself anyway. So they didn't hang around for ages, from what I can tell, or that I can remember. So it was quite a nice little thing. I mean, yeah, obviously, as I'd mentioned, the band had kind of pretty much ended by the time we put that out, so it was kind of like a footnote almost for the band. But Paul, you know, remained quite active doing his fanzine, and he's gone on, and he still, I think, writes for like people like Viva La Rock and stuff. You kind of often see him doing Paul Raggity, his name mentioned on review sections. So yeah, it was a nice little release to do, and yeah, if you're not familiar, I think it's kind of a snapshot of, you know, the bands that were around and doing stuff at the time. It's with the UK scene, it's you know, it's a nice little release. That's it for this one. I'll see you on the next one.
But no big deal. So they scrap and fake, it's gonna be cool. So what you try at the fool? Stop for just a minute, then you just might see it. Only scrap people think it's gonna be cool. So think about you think it's not really that hard. Count to 10 before you speak. And I'd run a mile. It's only square people think it's gonna be cool. So watch you try at the fool. Stop for just a minute, then you just might see that only square people think it's gonna be cool.
That was the living, romping, stomping, whipping, flipping, non-stop Anne. That's what it was, Daddy.
Oh, that was a gas